it's a teddy bear. Hi, Gigi. How are you, hon? I removed the ear tag when I was a kid. Great, Gigi. Just great. The Steiff ear tag, she removed it because she didn't like the yellow ribbon. Ah, Gigi. Too bad. The ear tag helps novices, right, identify the German Steiff bears. This Steiff bear, how old is your Steiff bear? 50s or 60s? Okay, so the Steiff bear might be the 60s, and it has the joints, right? It's jointed. It's in very nice shape. The mohair is beautiful. It's a caramel colored mohair. It still has its pads. You can't have holes in the pads. That devalues it. If it had the ear tag and the metal button, it would have in the 1960s. And the ears are nice and his face is nice. I appraised a woman's collection in Ohio. I walked into the house. The whole house was bears. The whole house. I mean, it was amazing. She said that she just loved the individual faces. She was, it was her collection. She liked it, like your Hot Wheels, Value on this bear is going to be just about $300. Without the tag, Hymns. The Methodist Episcopal Church, revised edition from Cincinnati, published in 1854. It's got a leather case. It's coming apart, little Gurna Percha inside. That's cardboard inside. And then it sits right here. And you can take it in your pocket. You can put it in your briefcase. You can take it on a Methodist hymns. You can take it on a train. Portable. Hymns and Bibles. We don't usually throw these out even if they're not worth all that much. Value on it, about $20. Dates to 1854. It's nice. Not bad. Some kind of training. You can see it, right? Paint's better than my stick figures, right? You're kidding. I can't draw you a stick figure. I'm the whole other side of art history, right? I'm not the one who actually can paint. Value on this piece with the frame, about $250. It's nice. It's, of course, the Madonna and Child. Why is she wearing green? The Madonna and Child, the Madonna is always shown in blue. She's always shown in blue. The Renaissance artist said, you know what? Blue is the color for Our Lady. And the reason for that is blue is the most expensive type of pigment to make, lapis lazuli. They take that stone, they ground it down, they mix it up with tempera paint or eggs, and basically it's always in blue. So she's typically in blue. But okay, blue and green are close. This particular piece is Art Deco. Do you see how it's very, very angular, it's very, very geometric in its form, and then it becomes quite organic too, right here. All right, realistic and nice. Made in Rome by a relatively well-known sculptor. This particular piece is a nice piece from the 1920s, indicative of the Art Deco. When art movements hit their 100th year anniversary, they spike, so objects spike. So why have I been going on and on for 15 years telling you, it's Art Deco by Art Deco? Because when 2020 hits, which it has now, we look back to the 1920s and everybody wants revival. You notice how everything's gray? Everything's black and white and gray? That's the Art Deco. God love all the interior decorators, but they didn't come up with this. This is a repeat of the 1920s, right? Value on this particular piece, about $175. It's nice. Hi, Helen. How'd you acquire this? This is a Coca-Cola toy. This one, very desirable, quite rare. This was a gift one Christmas from that teacher. Yes. It's cast iron made in New York. The Soho region of New York City, which is known for all the art galleries today, was actually a very large cast iron foundry area. So that's where you get most of your American cast iron toys. You get most of your American cast iron toys from that area of New York. So it makes sense that this piece would be out of New York. The Coca-Cola carriage, right, or coach with the horses, and the horse only has 1 foot on the ground, 1 hoof on the ground, right? Basically, that idea is suggesting movement, and also, again, the cast iron wheels. Wheels usually in toys of this time period are not all cast iron. Usually there's rubber around the hub and spoke of the hub, anyway, of the wheels. Coca-Cola collectors will pay about $500 for that. That's a nice piece, typically online. So that's nice. New York, early 20th century, with the recognizable Coca-Cola logo that is still used today. Thanks for bringing that in. That was fun.
Thank you.
My pleasure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now he's going, that makes sense, Dr. Lori. Who evaluates 20,000 objects a year? Is that you? No, it's me. Matroyskas. These are not Russian though. They are nesting dolls made in Asia, like Russian nesting dolls. These are the colors of the line spectrum. Remember Roy G. Biv? Red, orange, yellow, G, green, blue, indigo, violet. Same thing. So you don't have all the colors. You're supposed to have all the colors. Now he's like, come on, Dr. Lori, I got them for $9. What do you want, right? Okay. They date to the turn of the 20th century. They are unmarked. They are very highly skilled, very well painted, and value on your incomplete set about $30. For a set like this, turn of the 20th century, if you had all 10, about $200. I know. I was just recently in Alaska, in the Russian area of Alaska, where Sitka, where in fact what used to be called Russian America, and I was evaluating some of the world's best Matroyskas. So, but still nice for $9. These particular elements, you'll notice that the box is not lacquered, but it is a rosewood box. You'll notice that it has, of course, elements that are applied ornament in brass. You open this up, and you see the jewelry box. The box dates the early years of the 20th century and value on, how'd you acquire the box?
From my aunt.
From your aunt. So was she a traveler?
Yes, she was.
She was. Probably Japanese, not Chinese, and value on this box about $70. Awesome, you're awesome too, thank you. What do you know about Thomas Rowlandson? Anything?
Nothing.
Nothing. Nothing at all. The English early 1800s caricature artists with a guy named Hogarth. Any bells are ringing? No. Okay, do you know who Peyton Manning is? Okay, all right, okay. Now we just got to be on the same plane, then we can come together, right? So Peyton doesn't look like that, unless Aaron Rodgers is around. All right, this particular piece is a nice piece. And this particular piece is a lithograph of a comedic scene, all right? So basically the idea is, okay, you've got this guy here who's gonna have his legs sawed off. Right here we had a 19th century doctor's kit, and it had a big saw in it. Like a good sized saw. You know, we'll just hack off that part of the body, right? This particular piece is Rowlandson. It says Rowlandson DEL. That basically means that he's the person who carved into the plate. So imagine a metal plate, a very thick scalpel-like knife. You carve into it, you put the ink over that, you press that into a piece of paper a couple of times, okay? It's been inked. After it's been on the piece of paper, somebody else comes over and then they color it, okay? And then they basically would publish it in a newspaper or a journal for laughs, like a comic strip of the early 1800s.
Okay.
Value on this particular piece, this is a reproduction of the earlier pieces. Value on this piece, about $150. Oh, how'd you acquire it?
Garage sale.
What made you buy it? Are you a doctor?
No.
You're not? You don't, oh, it's just cool. Do you like to amputate things? Wow. How did you get this up here? Wow. That's a piece of Americana. That's why I wanted to bring it forward. You bought it in a Facebook, like a marketplace Facebook auction thing. All these people are doing, oh, it's a Facebook group about antiques, blah, blah, blah. You're getting a lot wrong, but that's okay. We're having fun. This particular piece is relatively well known, American sculptural history, right? It is, of course, trying to replicate and have people understand the plight of the soldier, right? So this particular piece is cast bronze. It's been patinated, colored, to make sure everything is all in line. A couple of elements about it with respect to American sculpture. You've got no pitting, little dots, which shows it's not been cared for properly. The base is lost. The base is an important part of the value for the piece, but the realistic style is very typical to pieces you would see by artists like him, like Remington and others, right? This particular piece shows the motion and the action. It also shows, of course, the physical attributes of the soldier as well as the horse. What did you pay?
$250.
Piece is worth $5,000. All day, every day. I would not be surprised if you can get more than that, but sales records now are showing about $5,000 for it, and you bought it on a group that thought it was only worth, someone thought it was only worth $250. Let me talk a little bit why frames are important. Frames are important to protect a couple of things. They're trying to protect, in fact, the canvas and also the stretcher bar which holds the canvas together. Because you notice that this is starting to come up because it doesn't have a frame. I know, Troy, I'm not upset with you. I think you're great. I'm just saying, if you had a frame, even a lousy frame, it's good to keep it. You found it just like this. Just like this. What do you know about this French artist who works at Montmartre, outside, you know, at Montmartre near Paris, one of the suburbs of Paris where they just stand on the street and paint? It's a French artist who paints outside of Montmartre. Did I not just say that? But he doesn't know if it's anything. Stay with me, Troy. I know you're good. He's like, oh, I don't like her at all. This is how I get the name. I don't blame him. I'm not trying to be hard on you. Here's how I know it was done outside. You see how skinny these stretcher bars are? They're really thin. They're thin this way and they're thin this way. Thin stretcher bars are usually used by artists en plein air, which means outdoors, directly from the scene. So he's standing near this street and he's painting this particular scene, okay? And then people are walking by, ooh, look what you painted, ooh, look what you painted. I want to buy it, great. And they just keep doing the same ones over and over and over again. That's what you have here. Dates to about the 1950s, done in plein air, and the reason why it probably just got put into another frame is because people would say, you know, it's not all that important because we just got it as a tourist piece on the street. Value on it, about 50 bucks. Not bad. Thank you for being a sport, Troy. What made you buy it? It looks very beautiful? It's very heavy. Where do you think it was made? Well, it looks Indian in terms of its iconography, in terms of the elephant, and somewhere exotic, more exotic than here we are in the Midwest of the United States. I would say that it probably is not Bali or Indonesia. It could be Thailand, it could be India. But I would think more Thai than it is Indian. Value on that piece is quite large. Now that could be used as a wainscoting on a bed, right? Back up against a bed like a headboard. It can also be utilized, sometimes they make the same decoration, only they orient it toward a door. But I think it's a headboard. I think it dates sometime into the 1950s or 60s, and value on that piece easily $150. Very nice. What did you pay at the yard sale?
$20.
$20. Did you negotiate them down? No. All right. Oh, Dr. Laurie always wants me to negotiate everything. So, do you have information about each scout? Like, that's a swimming badge, that's a camping badge, axes, I mean, do you know first aid? Do you know all of them? Okay. So that's going to be relatively important. Couple things that you have here. These are rare. You don't see these all the time. Now, I've appraised Boy Scout memorabilia, a 1930s backpack that was actually woven like a basket. So Boy Scout memorabilia in 1910 spiked in the market. 2010 was the 100-year anniversary of the Boy Scouts. So at 2010, Boy Scout memorabilia spiked in the market, and that's really important when you're trying to sell for top dollar. You find something at a thrift store and you say, oh, you know what, it's Boy Scout related. You have to think about the anniversaries because they really do help when you can actually sell something. And think about where you're going to sell something. Lots of people are selling on the basic sites. I want you to know about niche sales. So when you sell to a niche market. So someone like your son who was an Eagle Scout, he's going to be more interested in this than somebody else. So you got to try to get to those people. How do you do that? Facebook groups is one of the ways people do that. They go, wow, you know who's going to like this? Probably the folks who are Boy Scouts today. This particular set has a market value about $250. It's It's a very nice set, and as you said, it dates from about 1915 to about 1920, and you can document those years to your family history and to the age of your grandfather when he actually was doing the work to collect these particular badges. It's nice that it's in a frame, however, the textile is starting to off-gas. The backboard, because it's been in this frame for a long time, maybe your mom put it in this frame, or he put it in this frame toward the end of his life, that backboard is off-gassing, which is why it's all brown. If you take them out and reframe them, well, you know, it's not a bad idea, but then you run the risk of actually deteriorating the textile. Very hard to put a textile under glass. In museums, we don't put textiles under glass. We sew them onto a backboard, and then we have something sort of floating on top of it. Shadow boxes and such are not always good for preserving textiles. Thank you, that's a nice thing to see, very interesting. Got it in an auction? Are you a Texan? You from Texas? You just liked it? So it hangs on the wall, it's got a hanger here, it hangs on a hook, hangs on a wall, and you can hang your hat on it. You know, your 10-gallon hat. Me, your 25-gallon hat. You can put a clothes hanger on the back too, you can do that, there's a hook on it. It's nice, it's cast metal. If you go this way, so there's a hook here, you can do it that way too. That particular piece dates anytime between, I would say, 1950 and 1960, based on the casting method, and value on that piece, about $40.